Hello folks, welcome to Whiskey Whistle. I'm your host Mark, and this is Whiskey Review number 144, the Whiskey Whistle Whiskey of the Year 2016 for the 12-year-old and under age-stated category. Now this one is Kilkerran 12-year-old from the Glengyle distillery in Campbellton. It's a Campbellton single malt. That's a region in and of itself, I should say. Let's get that poured. This is Kilkerran 12-year-old from the Glengyle distillery, which, well, let's say it's new, and yet it's old at the same time. It's not a new distillery, but it's only been in production in the modern era for, 12 years, in fact. I guess 13 this year. We'll have a little bit of history about this one before getting into the nosing and the tasting and talking about the Whiskey Whistle Whiskey score, which I'm sure that you know is going to be quite a lofty score. So, Glengyle Distillery, this is right from Wikipedia, founded in 1872 by William Mitchell and completed in 1873. Does it list the age on there? Interesting. No, it doesn't. On the back, not even on the back. How about that? Nowhere to be found. I'm sure they'll add that on there at some point. Even though it's, let's say, a modern interpretation of this distillery, it's still in the same place, and it does have a claim to the name, especially as it's in the same family. Okay, so William Mitchell. This is the Mitchell family that is involved with the Springbank distillery. However, William Mitchell had a quarrel with his brother John, with whom he owned Springbank. And anyway, in 1919, the distillery was sold. This is alongside a lot of distilleries that had trouble at that time because of wartime. And 1924, the distillery changed hands yet again. 1925, ceased production. All the remaining stock was sold. And it had many other uses for a period of time. Tried to open again in, I guess, around the 40s or so. Didn't happen because of the Second World War, and also another attempt by a different company also failed in the 1950s. Fast forward to the late 2000. Late 2000, the company of Mitchell's Glengyle Limited was formed with the express purpose of renovating and rebuilding the Glengyle distillery. Mitchell's Glengyle is associated with the Springbank distillery, and both operations come under the guidance of Mr. Hedley Wright, a descendant of the Mitchell family, the original owners of both businesses. So then they repaired it. They put in stills, new stills, malt mill, mash tun and washbacks were installed. And here it says, in reality, much of this was not new, coming instead from other distilleries which had either ceased production or had surplus equipment. And production finally began in 2004. So there you go, 2004 plus 12, 2016, that's when this came out, and it's pretty much, that'll be their basic expression going forward. Glengyle is the first new distillery of the millennium and is part of a trend in new distilleries which includes Arran, Daft Mill, and Isla's new distillery, Kilkerran. There are actually quite a few others that have opened as well. Wolfburn is one of those. Kingsbarns, there's quite a few. And I think there are more to come. I think there is also Dornach distillery that's opening, if it's not already open now. There is a new distillery on Isla. In fact, I think there are two maybe even more opening soon. There's a new distillery on the Isle of Skye. Formerly, the other distillery on Skye was the only one that had been operating there. Anyway, all kinds of interesting things. It's really just a interesting period. Let's hope that they all can make a go of it. Okay? All right, that's enough chatter, and that's enough resting time and breathing time for this little glass of Kilkerran 12-year-old. Let's give it a nose, and we'll have a little short advertisement right here. Welcome back. Kilkerran 12-year-old. Let's check it out. Now, it's pretty peat forward. This is not just your typical peating level of most lightly peated whiskies in Scotland, and most of them are, as I've mentioned before. There's only a couple of distilleries that do not use peat. Anyway, this one is, I'm guessing, in the, let's say, 10 to 20, 10, 8 to 12, anyway, let's call it 10 plus or minus parts per million of phenolic content in the malt. It's sweet, it's herbal, it's got that smoke, it's got wood smoke, it has orchard fruits, apples and pears, a little bit of lime. And interestingly, this whiskey, depending on when you smell it, after you pour it, you should start smelling it right away. Give it a smell, give it a whiff. Every 5 minutes, let's say. Probably is best after 12 minutes, I would say. However, as a person who likes all kinds of interesting flavors, I like black licorice. I don't just like the typical black licorice that people who say they like black licorice like. That sounds like a tongue twister. I like the kind of black licorice that only real black licorice connoisseurs like. Salmiak variety, the salty ones, the strong ones, the double, the triple, the kind that people often will spit out because they say they like black licorice and they put it in their mouth, and then they're surprised by the unusual flavor. That's the Danish heritage of mine. I like candy. I've always liked candy. So going to the candy store in Canada or going to get some slik in Denmark when I visit, those were great times. And for me, the best licorice is black. And the sun is about to go down, so the lighting will be a little bit different, hopefully not too bad. All right, so you will smell something a little bit like that kind of salmiak, the very salty black licorice. Now that's not just salt, that's actually, it's not sodium NaCl, sodium chloride, it's potassium chloride usually, or other salts. And so you'll get a bit of that. You may get a little bit of something, if you are Korean watching this, you may get something slightly like honga, the very well-aged, that is the, what fish is that now? I think it's called a skate. It's kind of like a marlin, or, you know, they look like, it's kind of like it's a family member of the shark, but it's got this weird kind of diamond shape and a long tail. What's the Korean name for that cute one they always talk about? Looks like it's smiling all the time. I forget. Something Ari. It's gone. Well, anyway, so one of those types of fish called the skate, they catch in the Korean waters to the south, and they will store it in clay pots for a long period of time. And then when you go to get some and you cut it, you get an extreme flavor experience, unlike probably anything you tried. A little bit similar to that salmiak black licorice, the lakritz, right? Or drop is known in some parts of Europe. Anyway, and you'll catch it. It'll smell like that for just a little brief period, maybe a few minutes, and then it'll dissipate and get sweeter. So if you are a person who doesn't like that kind of strong smell, it's not a fishy smell. It's mentholic. It is a little bit like eucalyptus, of that nature. Okay, so if that's not your game, if that's not your bag, then you just wait and you will have something that you can enjoy. So it's just about past. I can smell that a little bit yet. And yet you dig your nose deep in there. You get that nostril burning menthol eucalyptus kind of a thing going on. But give it time and you'll get the sweetness out of this. All right, let me just talk about what I say here. Oh, didn't talk about the color or the ABV. It's 46% ABV. It's unchill filtered. It is natural color, and the color is a light hay. Okay. All right, medium peat, dry white wine, white pepper, some sugar cane, fresh mown grass, pine, mentholic. And I wrote here, sometimes I get a bit of salmiak or eucalyptus also. Or tea tree oil would be another similar sort of scent. Okay, and as time passes, the sugar cane, that sweetness will come out. Okay, the palate. Cheers, everybody. Sweet and fiery, smoky. Apple, cinnamon hearts, the candy, the red ones. Peat, a sweet smoke. It's not like an Isla peat. It's more of a Highland peat, or a Campbellton peat, like Longgrow from the Springbank Distillery, which I can mention because it's the same company. On the finish, I'm getting smoked baked apple. My mouth is quite dry, and that smoked apple sweetness carries for quite a while. This is much peatier than the Springbank 10-year-old, which is slightly peated already. So you, in my tasting recollection, it's kind of like Springbank minus the tobacco, and then plus this menthol eucalyptus sort of thing that's happening along with the sugar cane and the pine. Anyway, I like it a lot, and that again could be because of the types of candy that I grew up eating, the culture that I grew up observing. Anyway, okay, time to add a bit of water. Oops. Oh, shit. Oh dear, I can't believe that just happened. Do not put your bottle at the edge of a table. That's the first bottle of whiskey I ever broke. But thankfully the glass didn't break, so the show can go on. Oh dear. That was a half bottle. Oh well. That'll be the first, hopefully the last time I break a bottle. Oh my goodness. On camera too. That's probably first. I'm going to have to make a very short little video just of that. Did you catch that? Okay. Well, I didn't get it on my shoes. And looks like they're using pretty good glass because it didn't smash in a gazillion pieces. Okay. I think I need a little more water than that. Oh, what a shame that was. Because I'm all cramped up over here in the corner. That's one less bottle I have to carry back home with me. Oh, and well, for those people in Seoul that were hoping to get a sample of my Kilkerran, I'm sorry, you'll have to wait. You may have to wait a long time because this is really hard to get. Okay, a little more than that, I think. Okay. Now, you get a lot of Scottish mist happening with, there, may as well go in, with Kilkerran. So if you can see that already, I can see it developing. It's getting cloudy, kind of like Hogarden beer, if you're familiar. Unfiltered wheat beer. There. Quite a bit of cloudiness going on there. I could probably add a little more water, but I'm not going to, for fear that I might knock something else off. Okay, now that menthol eucalyptus sort of thing has basically run its course. And you've got more of a slightly sweet white wine, slightly peated event happening here. Peating, of course, has subsided somewhat. And there's something lemony happening here. And again, it's more like the white part of the lemon between the zest, the outside, and the meat, the fruit, the buds, whatever those are called, inside the lemon. And a little bit more grassy, a little bit more pine. Yeah, so it's very fresh. It's kind of like you are in the woods in Canada in the springtime, when you've got all that new green foliage coming out on the pine trees. And the pine trees, the birch trees, the fir trees, and I miss home. Okay. Yeah, so a little softer, a little more of this dry white wine, still a bit peppery, a little bit of lemon pith, still grassy, still a bit of a piney kind of scent. Also a little bit of sugar cane left. It's still sweet. All right, on to the palate. Cheers, everyone. It really gets very sweet. Oh dear. Super sweet with smoke and some unripe apples, which get riper and riper as you let it sit. Now I write here the peat smoke builds. I mean, it's diminished somewhat, but it really does build in your mouth. It's just this warm wave of smokiness that comes through. It builds and then it diminishes over time also. Pepper is still there. And the finish, oddly, I taste more peat now. Smoked apple still. And again, something like plums stuffed in a roast pork, along with the burnt bits of that pork, the ends. My mother really likes those ends, the ones that are a dark brown, almost turning almost like the color of cocoa. The burnt bits, a little bit of the sweet, well cooked, overcooked, mushy onion in the pan with all of those juices and the fruit juices coming through. Not that it tastes like onion, okay? It's not an onion, but it's that sweetness that the onion gives. Yeah. Very sweet, but again, it's like the plumped up prunes that you would stuff into that pork along with the onions. Very nice. I can still taste the peat after I've swallowed, after I have kind of tried to clear my palate. It's still there. Anyway, that's that for Kilkerran 12. All I've got left is the can and a big mess to clean up. All right, so the Whiskey Whistle Whiskey score for Kilkerran 12-year-old from the Glengyle Distillery, the same company that owns Springbank, is going to be 91 out of 100. That's the Whiskey Whistle Whiskey score for Kilkerran 12-year-old, 91 out of 100. And the nickname for this one is the Shapeshifter. It straddles between a peaty island style or peaty coastal style, along with a dry, sweet Highlander. That's kind of the balance that it's got there. Very, very nice. I don't think this is for everyone. It's definitely up my alley. And again, if you've heard me talk about the black licorice and the eucalyptus and the menthol, and you're a person who likes that kind of breathtaking sort of flavors, then you should get yourself some. I'm afraid I can't offer you any, but maybe in the future, before long, I will have to get a bottle of this again. What a shame. Oh well, all for you. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Okay, take care.